Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a new chair, so I'm adjusting a little bit. Whoosh. There we go. Some adjustments going on here. That's what I feel. That's what I feel my life is right now. It's a little bit of adjustment. Like everything is in. We weren't sure what this was going to be about, but we feel like everything is in motion. It's like everything has its rhythm. There is a natural rhythm that happens when you are in sync, when your energy is in sync with Gaia, and you trust this process. And so right now we're feeling like, right now the chair that we were sitting in, that has been sold. So we are preparing for this amazing voyage that that we have with Gaia. She is inviting us out to play. And so we have done enough of inner work that we are now ready to take that energy out into the world, we totally feel like it's more coming out of sort of like a shell. That's sort of what it feels like. It's coming out of, wow, you know what it feels like? It feels like coming out of like winter season, but in a much bigger cycle, like a much bigger cycle. That's what it feels like. That's what it is for us. It's the completion of the dualistic perspective. Truly knowing what it means, this dualistic perspective, seeing all of the different pitfalls and making the correct decisions to stay loyal to your own energy first. And right now, which is very common, the old is leaving. The new is sort of taking over. That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening globally as well. Not just here, but this is a very big representation of what is coming. Because it is, things are still in this stage, but it's the new has taken enough momentum for that to snowball. Even if you don't see it yet, it does snowball. When you invest your energy into the right things, not just hands off, but truly hands in, knowing what you need to change and how you need, what God and Gaia is asking you from the situation that you're in. Truly. And once you get that, link in the description if you want to train and assist join us in these 28-day shifts. And so when you get the hang of this, you will gain so much momentum on the, like I'm using the word correct. We know that that can be misinterpreted. So it's not correct from oh, that is correct and everything else is wrong. And it's not from that perspective. It's from the perspective of correct choice for the most amount of energy. That's really what it is. That's what we mean when we say correct. So that you get that this is about expanding your own energy and maintaining that. And that's something to feel for. And you can only do that through your body, because your body lets you know. Your body is the only one that can let you know truly how well you're doing, because your body is connected to Gaia and your body follows Gaia. Your body can't do anything else than follow Gaia, because your body is Gaia. It's an extension, just the same as your consciousness is an extension of Source, and higher consciousness, just the same is your body an extension of Earth's consciousness. Those are two consciousnesses. That's commingling. That is the lovemaking that you are asked to do with yourself. And you can get into really deep intimacy with yourself in this connection. It's not boring. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of new things to learn in this holistic perspective. There's a lot of new ways that we can use our body, and new ways that we didn't even think was possible. There are many ways that this human consciousness can blossom if you just give it the right frameworks to work from. That's really it. We have come from a system that is outdated. It doesn't work anymore. And so right now we are asked to comprehend the truth of where we're at, because that's the only way truly that we can be in alignment with who we are. If we are seeing screwy, what is this? The system, it's logical. The system will not function 100%. It will not function optimally. This is what they mean by when you look at a percentage of the brain that's turned on and all of that stuff. That's because human beings in the dualistic perspective, that's still operating like that, which many still are. You can even get caught into like a spiritual fantasy about where you're at, when in actual fact, it's actually different. So it's really good to really look at your environment, because that says everything about how well you're doing in frequency. Fortunately or unfortunately, but truth, you want the truth, because then you can affect it. You want to see what's going on, because then you can affect it. And sometimes in this transformation period onto the new, we are getting the opportunity to see things from a totally different place. And once we do that, and we continue to ingrain a new way of being, that takes root, and that becomes more. There is a way of operating in the world where you are fully in harmony with your body and Gaia, and with your higher consciousness and your own consciousness, which is part of that higher consciousness. But other lives and everything up here doesn't matter that much unless it's connected to what's happening here on the ground, right? So that's the link here. And so but when we are in this digestion period where we are transitioning from the old to the new, what is happening then is that there is a lot of things that we are getting the opportunity to face and to see new, and to accept our part in that. When you get to see that clearly, and you get to see the other person's perspective, all of the things that you have been through in the dualistic perspective needs to have that revisioning. Because if you're pointing the finger, you are going to have another revisioning. You know, there is always cycles, and They can be stubborn cycles, like if there is just no, the outside world is to blame. No, that happened to me. Yes, it happened to you, but that doesn't mean it's to blame. There is a bigger comprehension. You're not wrong. That's really important to get. Your feelings are not wrong. But there is a bigger comprehension still. So you have a localized experience, which is with your body, but there is a bigger way to look at each situation, because everything is governed by love from the outside. But the little human here going through a challenging situation can't always see that, because they have their own filtering mechanism. That this loving force, there is only love in the universe. The only thing is, what is the interpretation of each individual that seems to be split off from that? So there needs to be a discernment about what reality is, where you're at, and what your soul is, so that it's very clearly delineated in your consciousness, because that is going to help you maneuver these frequencies so much better in the years to come. Because yes, the frequency of the planet is rising. What does that mean? That means that we get more energy, but that also means that if you don't know how to handle that energy, you can send sparks everywhere and things can happen, right? Because with more energy comes more responsibility. You need to be able to manage that. It's the same as switching from a 12-volt system to a 110 system. Like, there is a level of responsibility with this higher voltage. That's the same with your human energy. As you are going through these changes, as you're saying yes to this upgrade, as you want to grow. But with that want to grow also comes the truth that needs to be faced about the reality that has happened. Once you come to terms with that, and you let the body go through everything that it needs to go through, all of the crying, all of the, if yelling is needed, but sometimes it can be helpful with some of that. But what we see many beings fall into with that is sort of like, almost like yelling therapy, which is like that's just ingraining the pattern. We don't want that. We don't want the pattern to be the new anger, to be the new valve that gets sort of depressurized, because that's not helping the situation, right? We want the situation to be different, so that there's no need for this pressure valve thing, right? It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be that you are aligned. And once you have clarified enough of the old, so that you see things from this sort of higher vantage point, sort of a bird's eye view in a way, that your consciousness is housing. So you have more awareness, because with more energy comes more, you can call it spiritual abilities, you can call it that, but it won't be completely true, because it's just the way that a normal human being is meant to function. It's just that we haven't been plugged in. Not fully, right? We have been like sort of 10%, 2%, I don't know. I mean, the blossoming of consciousness through anything is always growing more. And that also means that we will always grow, mutate. This is what these are. They're sort of like mutations of the consciousness. We're living in very exciting times, and this is the time to change. If you ever want to align to this holistic perspective, there is a link in the description, and there you can find out more about our offerings. We love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again in the next one. Ciao.